Great to walk with you again. Today, while we walk, I'll summarize a story titled The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle, a Sherlock Holmes Christmas mystery. A lost hat, a frozen Christmas goose, and a priceless diamond hidden in the one place no one would ever look. How did the world's most hunted gemstone end up inside a family's Christmas dinner? Tonight, Sherlock Holmes isn't just solving a crime. He's chasing a miracle that started in a gutter and ended in a mystery that could ruin a man's life. The story starts with a post-Christmas morning at 221B Baker Street. The story opens on the second morning after Christmas. Dr. Watson visits 221B Baker Street and finds Sherlock Holmes deep in contemplation, examining a battered, ordinary-looking felt hat. This hat was brought to him by Peterson, a hotel commissionaire, along with a fat Christmas goose. Peterson had witnessed a scuffle on the street between a group of thugs and a middle-aged man carrying the goose. When the police appeared, the crowd scattered and the man fled in a panic, leaving behind both his hat and the bird. A small tag tied to the bird's leg simply read, "For Mrs. Henry Baker." Deduction from the smallest details. While the goose was sent to Peterson's house to be cooked as it was beginning to spoil, Holmes kept the hat. Here, Holmes displays his legendary masterclass in observation. The large size suggests the owner is highly intellectual, as a large brain requires a large skull. The quality: it was an expensive hat 3 years ago but is now faded and worn, indicating the man was once well-to-do but has fallen on hard times. The dust is a fine brown house dust, proving the owner spends most of his time indoors. Tallow stains suggests the house has no gas or electric light, and the owner must use candles. Just as Holmes finishes his deduction, Peterson rushes back into the room, breathless and pale. While his wife was preparing the goose for dinner, she found a magnificent glittering blue gemstone inside the bird's crop. The Blue Carbuncle and the Cosmopolitan Hotel robbery. Holmes immediately recognizes the gem as the famous Blue Carbuncle belonging to the Countess of Morcar. It had been stolen days earlier at the Hotel Cosmopolitan. A plumber named John Horner, who had a prior criminal record, had already been arrested based on the testimony of James Ryder, the hotel's upper attendant. All evidence pointed toward Horner, despite his desperate pleas of innocence. The baffling question remained: how did the world's most hunted gemstone end up inside a family's Christmas dinner? Tracing the goose's journey. Holmes places an advertisement to find Mr. Henry Baker. When he arrives, Holmes realizes he is merely a poor, innocent soul who knows nothing of the gem. Mr. Baker explains he obtained the goose through a goose club at the Alpha Inn. Holmes and Watson immediately head to the Alpha Inn. The landlord informs them that the geese were supplied by a wholesaler in Covent Garden named Breckenridge. At Covent Garden, Holmes uses a clever wager to trick the grumpy Breckenridge into revealing his source, a woman named Mrs. Oakshott. The culprit revealed. Just as Holmes is leaving the market, he notices a small, twitchy man trembling at Breckenridge's stall, asking about the same geese. Holmes realizes this is the final link in the chain. He confronts the man and invites him back to Baker Street. Inside 221B, the stranger collapses in terror and confesses his name, James Ryder, the very hotel attendant who had framed the plumber. The truth of the diamond-bearing goose. Ryder tearfully recounts his crime. He and his accomplice stole the gem and planted the blame on Horner. Panicking about a police search, Ryder visited his sister, Mrs. Oakshott, a poultry dealer, to hide the stone. He came up with a daring plan. He forced a prize goose to swallow the diamond. However, in his confusion, he lost track of which bird was which among a group of identical geese. The diamond goose was sold to the Alpha Inn and eventually ended up with Mr. Henry Baker. When Ryder realized he had lost the stone, he became desperate, but by then the trail had gone cold until he met Sherlock Holmes. Mercy in the season of goodwill. Ryder breaks down, sobbing and begging Holmes not to call the police, fearing that a prison sentence would ruin his life forever. In a rare moment of leniency, Sherlock Holmes decides to let Ryder go. Holmes explains to a surprised Watson, "I am not retained by the police to supply their deficiencies." He believes that sending Ryder to jail at this moment would only turn him into a hardened criminal, whereas a second chance during the Christmas season might lead to a soul's redemption. The case ends with Horner set to be exonerated, the gem returned to the Countess, and Holmes and Watson sitting down to their own Christmas dinner, satisfied with a mystery solved through both logic and humanity. And with that humanity ending, our walk also ends here. Thank you for walking with me to the end of the journey, and see you again soon in another adventure with so many more amazing books and stories. Goodbye for now.